Okay, so I'm gonna start today off with clarifying my hair. I'm gonna use basil tea as the base of my ACV rinse. So funny. I grow basil in my garden and I literally just decided to pluck them and use them as the base for my rinse. I had no idea that basil tea is actually anti-inflammatory, antifungal. It helps with dandruff, with hair fall. It relieves stress, anxiety, and inflammation if you take it internally. And so I really lucked out. But yeah, I decided to use that as my base. If you noticed in my last video, my hair had a lot of buildup. So I am really excited to just take down the sebum and the dirt and the sand and all that stuff that's in my hair. So I'm making my concoction. It's 1 part ACV to 3 parts, whatever you want to use. I'm of course using basil tea here. Just giving it a good shake, now I'm saying. And so here I am massaging my scalp and just loosening up everything. Of course, I totally sped up this footage, but y'all, I took my time, okay? So here I am just dousing my hair, making sure my hair is wet, parting my hair into 2 portions. And then I'm gonna start on the right side of my head like I usually do. I don't know. And what I did is I went ahead and put the ACV rinse all over my hair on my scalp. And then I decided to go in section by section and loosen up the dirt and dead skin cells and stuff that usually lay on the scalp. And then I went in section by section and used the ACV rinse as well. I want to make a note here that, again, this footage is sped up, but I am not being rough at all with my hair. I'm actually being very gentle. If you have if you have natural hair in general, you need to be gentle, period. But especially high porosity hair, our hair typically tends to be very fragile. And then on top of that, I have fine strands. So I just have to be way more careful than I'm used to. So I just want to make a note of that in case you're looking at this footage and thinking that I'm being really rough-handed. I'm not actually. So yeah, here I am. I'm pretty much done with this section and I'm about to twist it up. Again, it really is this simple to do a clarification on your hair, a clarifying rinse that is also good for your hair. So you just go back in. We're gonna see another section here shortly. You just go in, okay, you make your part, okay, put the rinse on. And I focus on the scalp. The buildup and everything will rinse off as long as the scalp is taken care of first. Okay, so I focus on the scalp. And then after I try to loosen up everything that's on my scalp, that's when I decide to try to get the sebum to come down the hair strands. So I'm just doing that here. And it looks like I'm kind of just working all around inside of my hair, but when I was in the shower, it actually felt like I had individual sections that I was working with. And so I'm just making sure that I'm getting all around, front, side, up, down, back. And then when I'm done with that, I just twist it up. So one more time on this side, I'm just going to wet my hair. It has dried out since I've done the first 2 sections. I'm gonna go ahead and work the sebum that's already there and the buildup, put the rinse on, focusing on my scalp. And man, I actually really enjoyed the smell of this basil tea, but anyway. I'm going to loosen up the dirt and the debris and all that stuff on my scalp. Then I'm gonna focus on smaller sections, making sure to bring the sebum and everything just down the hair strands. And then once I'm done with that entire section, I'm just going to twist it up. So after I'm done twisting it up, I'm just gonna go ahead and go back to my scalp, really work my scalp gently. Gently, oh, that's what I said, gently. Gently working the scalp, making sure to bring anything that has liquefied just down the twist. And once I'm done with that, I'm literally just gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So you guys know that I have struggled with trying not to cut my hair. I just feel like shorter hair is so much easier to work with. It's not as cumbersome. You don't have to deal with tangles. You don't have to deal with like anything really. You literally just like wake up and go. But I have challenged myself ever since last year to try my best not to cut my hair. So there's that. Now, given that fact, I have done a few trims. Yes, I've been scissor happy, the trims that I have done. But for the most part, I have tried very, very, very hard to keep the trims to between 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch. Have I cut off a fourth of an inch? Yes. Have I cut off and a sixth of an inch? Sure, sure. A third? Maybe. But for the most part, I've tried very hard to keep my trims down to a minimum. And so I'm excited for this challenge because it's really going to force me to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can do when it comes to growing my hair, both internally and externally. So yeah, here I am again, working the scalp, bringing everything down the twist. So I'm just wet my hair a little bit for each of the twists, just to kind of wet it just a little bit and get everything down. Then I'm gonna tie my hair to the back, a little ponytail, a little bun thing, take a shower, and then I am here taking the bun out. And I'm not really gonna like super rinse my hair. I'm mostly just making sure that the rinse was effective. So I'm going through each section and just kind of bringing down the sebum that has been liquefied, right? So apple cider vinegar does a great job of liquefying, breaking up our sebum. That's why it's great for clarification. And that's also why you want to make sure that the rinse that you are using isn't too strong. You don't want to do 2 parts ACV, 2 parts water. You want to do a fourth of whatever concoction you want to make. That fourth or less is ACV. So that's what I try to do here. And I'm just making sure that the sebum that was liquefied, that it doesn't stay at the top. It just comes right back on down. My strands, the longer your hair is, the more susceptible the strands are to damage, to dryness, etc. And sebum coverage is not very easy for longer hair. So you want to make sure whenever you're doing something like this, that's like an ACV rinse or whatever, you just want to make sure that you're encouraging the sebum to come all the way down and not stop, right at the scalp or halfway or 3/4 of the way. You want to make sure that baby come all the way down, okay? So that's what I'm doing here. And then once I'm done with this section and making sure again, just, making sure that everybody on the scalp, just letting them know, yo, y'all come on down the line, come on down the Soul Train line. Once I'm done with all of that, then you'll see me here just piecing together a few of the strands, like detangling and then bunching them together to bring the sebum down. And then I'm just going to twist that whole section up, and you'll see that here shortly. All got the fever, but it's fear driving us away from home. Hoping for sunrise. I heard the dawn of hope can even light the way. Oh, just give me sunrise. There is a myth that when you're in the mess, you can't ever feel cold. And let the sunrise visit us on this road. This road shine on all of us to sit in darkness and be shadow. And let the sunrise visit us on this road. This road shine on all of us to sit in darkness and be shadow. Got feet the way home. And I did the same exact thing on the other side. Flat twist for me is just a really simple way of keeping my hair out of the way, but making sure that everything is in its own place. So I do a strand test at the end of everything that I do, just checking to see, okay, how damaging or not damaging was this, how nourishing was this, etc. That's it. That was the clarifying rinse. So you guys let me know what y'all use for your clarification for this challenge. I'm really excited to see what y'all come up with. Or you could just keep it simple. Just do an ACV rinse. 1 part ACV, 4 parts water. You can do that. But you can add essential oils and stuff to it. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Okay. All right. I'll see y'all in the next one.